Previously on Pokemon Colosseum. Bravo, bravo, well done. Why not become a Cipher show battle trainer? Would you even consider it? I'll vouch that you will become a top star in no time. I wouldn't have minded making that proposition, but I'm afraid I'm not that big-hearted. I will destroy you in battle right now. You will know the humiliation of total domination before this crowd. So this is it. This is the battle with the one and only ringleader of the Cipher organization. It is Cipher leader Nascour. As you can see, he starts off with a very strong duo of Pokemon. He has a Walrein as well as a Blaziken, a fully evolved Gen 3 starter Pokemon. So as you can see, his team starting off already kind of resembles an experienced Hoenn trainer. So Nascour is by far the toughest challenge that you have faced. Kind of a given knowing that he is a big bad in this game, and we are at the very end of the story. As you can see, his Pokemon are in their level 50s. They are pretty close to actually level 60. We took Walrein down with no problem. Luckily, we had Thunderbolt. That thing can be quite a tank and a beast to take out if you do not have a strong electric moves. He's next sending out Xatu. This is a Psychic and Flying type. Also to note, Blaziken is a fire fighting type, so you want to come really prepared for this fight. These are very strong Pokemon, and Blaziken is extremely fast. So ever since we met him for the first time in Phoenix City, Nascour has always been an enigma. He has been kind of an interesting character that we've only kind of seen glimpses of this entire time. And now is when he truly comes into play. So he essentially has been commanding these Cipher peons and admins to carry out various tasks in order to complete their Shadow Pokémon plan. Of course, Ein is mainly the brains behind the operation, with Dakum being the muscle, Mirabee being the charismatic villain. Nascour obviously has some special talents as well, as he has recruited all these individuals in order to enact this plan. As you can see, we took down Xatu. Very nice. That could have been a pain. He is next going to send out quite an interesting Pokemon, Gardevoir. Gardevoir is a very high special attacker. This is something to be very afraid of. And if I remember correctly, it does also know the move Calm Mind, which essentially raises its special attack even higher, which is something that is also to be afraid of. As you can see, we took it out with one hit, no problem. Love the fact that we have Earthquake. We can essentially wreak havoc on this guy. As you can see, we've also taken out Blaziken. We have taken out over half of this guy's team already, so he is not as intimidating as he may look, even though he kind of looks a little bit more like, even though he does kind of resemble a villain from the Final Fantasy series or something scary out of my nightmares. I'm not sure. No, honestly, Nascour is a very cool looking character. He's probably one of the most interesting characters in any Pokemon game I've ever played. As you can see here, he is actually finishing off with a Dusclops. And what do you know? We have another Shadow Pokemon, and this time it is Metagross. This thing is a tank. It is a Psychic and Steel type. Obviously, Dusclops is a Ghost type. But Metagross is probably your biggest fear when it comes to capturing a Pokemon. It has a very high catch rate, and it is a solid Steel tank. This thing is very hard to damage, let alone take down if you are, in any traditional Pokemon battle. It is an excellent Pokemon. It's unfortunate that this is the end of the main story. We really have no opportunity to use this thing in a Pokemon team, if of course you're still considering that. There is a little bit of after game left after the main story here, so if you are, catching this Metagross now and you want to maybe use it as a powerhouse for, the rest of the bonus or for the rest of the after game content, go crazy, because this thing is an absolute beast, I would have to say. But like I was saying, Nascour is, he's definitely an interesting villain, especially for this game. You can tell that he is obviously, a mastermind beyond all things, because he's been able to really pull the strings for most of this Pokemon plan. He also has some very high level Pokemon, so this guy is definitely nothing to joke around with. He has probably been training for this entire moment. He has probably been training for this moment his entire life, or at least most of the time that he's been working in the Cipher organization. And it goes to show also that not everybody that you meet are exactly as they seem. Obviously, when we met him in Phoenix City, he kind of seemed a little bit more innocent. He was very strikingly intimidating, but he really didn't have a lot of trouble that he caused. There wasn't really a lot that he did to us right off the bat. He was mainly kind of playing it cool and sending his Cipher goons at us one at a time without confronting us really directly. With the right amount of combination of Ultra Balls and Timer Balls, this is exactly why I recommend you save those for this specific fight right here and this specific catch, because this one is the hardest one you were absolutely going to catch up until this point. I have a feeling this is going to take quite a while, so let's see how we do here. Alright, so we are just down to one Ultra Ball, it looks like. We really have a lot of Timer Balls left. Let's go and throw another Timer Ball, because several turns have passed. This thing is in low health. It's also paralyzed. Let's cross our fingers here. Oh, and it's over. We have captured it. We have caught the Shadow Metagross. Such a huge victory, and we have defeated Nascour. And no, there's no, this can't be happening. It is, buddy. It is. It's not over, Wes. Come on, we shall battle. Again? You really want to go through a suffering a second time? Alright, your funeral. Enough! Don't embarrass yourself, Nascour. Sir, I beg your pardon. What's going on? Nascour's apologizing? Isn't he supposed to be the boss? Plot twist. My, that certainly was a battle worth seeing. I must be honest with you, I never imagined that you would get this far. Huh? Mr. Mayor, why are you here? Oh dear me, do you fail to understand still? You're such an innocent child. At times, I am the affable mayor of Fennec, and at others, I am the secret boss of the criminal syndicate Cipher. I am Evice, and I shall rule the world. How dare you meddle in our affairs so thoroughly? Shadow Pokémon plan, we can resurrect from the start. But you two, you'll never be forgiven. I'll destroy you utterly so you may never rise against me again. Can you say a plot twist? Holy cow. So yeah, this is the big surprise that was waiting for you at the end of the main story. This is the true Cipher head. This is Evice, formerly known as Ascade, the mayor of Phoenix City. Yes, so believe it or not, they snuck this in the game in a way where you had no idea that this was coming. And I have quite a few opinions on this, but I have to say that this was something I never saw coming when I first played the game, or at least finished the main story for the first time. That innocent but yet kind of creepy, and you could tell he had something hiding under his sleeve, Mayor Ascade from Fennec. He briefly appears at the very beginning of the game, and then we really never see him again, at least play a part in the major, at least playing a major part of the main story. But this is a guy who's actually pulling the strings this entire time. Nascour, although was very high up within the organization, was actually taking orders from him. And as you can see, he also has a team that is nothing to joke around with. He starts off with a Salamence, level 60, and a Slacking. A very highly defensive Pokemon, and it is an utter tank. If you thought Metagross was a tank, Slacking is just as bad, in my opinion. We are starting off by actually losing 2 members of our team already. Something also I did not point out, that at the beginning of the fight with Nascour, you were actually healed up fully with your team. This fight is actually the same way. So after you defeat Nascour, you are healed up once again before the fight with Evice. So they are at least kind enough to do that for you, unlike the first 4 trainer fights that we had in the little Colosseum challenge that we just did. So his Pokemon, so Evice and his Pokemon, there really isn't any clear-cut strategy. You just want to make sure you have you just want to make sure your Pokemon are high enough level and know some pretty damn strong moves, because this guy, this is it. This is the ultimate challenge right here. We were starting with 2 level 60 Pokemon, and and one of them being a Salamence. That alone should give you everything you need to know about this fight. It is not for the weak. We've already lost 2 Pokemon, not a great start. I actually had to revive Marcia. One of his main tactics that he's absolutely going to use on you is his double-edged strategy, where he will essentially have some of his very high attack Pokemon use double edge, and good luck surviving it when he has Pokemon in the level 60s and with high attack power, because that thing can do quite a bit of damage. His Slacking knows Earthquake, as you saw, and it also knows the move Crush Claw, which is an extremely powerful move as well that you do not want to mess with. That thing has a power of 75 and an accuracy of 95, but it is a very strong move. It also has a 50% chance of lowering your defense stat once it makes contact. This is another reason why I thought it was very important to have Marcia learn Ice Beam, and this is why we actually saved up Poké Dollars back in Mount Battle in order to purchase it from the exchange counter. Ice Beam is really your only clear-cut strategy against Salamence, with it being a dragon type. And with this thing being a huge threat, it is important to take it out immediately. It looks like we finally did that. 1 down and we have 5 to go. He is next going to send out a Scizor. This thing is very fast and very threatening. However, if you have a fire attack or fire type Pokemon, you can take it out quite quickly. I will say that. Scizor is pretty cool looking, and retaining its model from Pokemon Stadium 2, that was always one of my favorite Pokemon in that game. I just had to bring that up for some reason, but it appears in like the title screen of that game, so it's a very well-known Pokemon if you grew up playing some of those games like I did. I'm going to go ahead and throw up a light screen because I'm not entirely sure what we're getting into with these two, but it's going to use Silver Wind, and that's actually bad news for Sage, with that being a bug move. Go ahead and switch out to Scorch. See if we can finally give him some time to shine here. Moment in the sun, knowing that Scizor is a part Steel type. We'll see what he can do. Yeah, I think we need to go ahead and revive somebody else just so we have a little bit of reassurance here. This battle is not going as well as the last one. I will say we had a really easy time overall with Nascour. With Evice, however, I kind of expected this. We are struggling just a little bit. Something that's also important to point out is in the beginning of the game, when you are in Phoenix City, you see Nascour exiting Mayor Escade's house, which is essentially one of the clues the game drops you to figure out that there is something more than meets the eye with these two. Another thing that I actually did not go back and show off is after you defeat Venus in the Under for the first time, if you head back to Phoenix City and go back to the mayor's house, he will actually not be there. And if you talk to one of the NPCs outside of his home, he is actually mentioned to have, it is actually mentioned that he leaves his house very angrily. So this is another clue, kind of very small clue that's very hidden in the game that essentially gives you the idea that he is involved in this in some way, shape, or form. It's just not very clear at first how big of a role he has. Clearly, he has a pretty damn big role, being the actual head of the entire organization. So this is really his plan that he created and has carried out by delegating, you know, these tasks to all these other Cipher admins and peons. As you can see, he also has a Machamp, so this guy is not messing around. His team is very intimidating. This is why, again, it is very important to train, and they're in their level 60s. So, again, more reason to train your Pokemon up well before you enter this challenge. Because, again, this is the reason why this is the hardest part of the game, obviously with it not only being like the final key point in the story here, but you have a series of battles that you cannot really take a break from or rest in between. With that being said, unless you went and stocked up on a bunch of healing items like I recommended you doing at the herb shop as well as some other stores, you're gonna have one hell of a time making it through this series of fights. And although they do heal you up towards the end, again before the battle with Nascour and then again before this battle here with Evice, it is still going to be pretty damn challenging. And if you didn't do enough training and you're under leveled, you're most likely not going to succeed through this battle. Because once again, level 60, just keep that in mind. Like, that is very difficult to, you know, go up against, especially if you don't have Pokemon that are not only, you know, just not good stat-wise, but also if they don't know good moves. Like, you could struggle here. There are many different ways that this could go wrong. This could also go wrong for me right now as we're talking, or as I'm talking, I guess. But this is his ace in the hole. This is the beast that he has been hiding this whole time. It is Shadow Tyranitar. This thing is by far the strongest Shadow Pokemon that you will ever encounter in this game, and that includes the Pokemon that we have yet to capture after the main story, so keep that in mind. Again, they give it to you at the very last point in the story, so there really isn't any way that you can use this on your team all that much effectively unless you're just doing it for the rest of the post game. But this thing is the one Pokemon that I highly recommend you use your Master Ball on. It is the hardest Shadow Pokemon to capture by far, even harder than Metagross. Let's go ahead and use the Master Ball. Three shakes, no fail, baby. Yeah, 100% catch rate right before your eyes there. That is the inner workings of the Master Ball and why it is so amazing. We don't have to even deal with weakening its health or doing anything, putting it to sleep, paralyzing it. All of those things are in the past. We now just have to deal with this stupid Slowking, so let's go ahead and do that now. This thing is also pretty intense. It is a pretty high special attacker from what I remember, with it being part water and psychic. So really pace yourself here. If you have a strong electric move like I do here with Flashlight, you shouldn't really have many problems with it. It just kind of is it does kind of suck knowing that I have had to kind of revive some of my Pokemon. I was hoping to go through most of these main fights without really doing so, just to see how I matched up in an even way, you know, where I could, you know, kind of face off with this trainer fairly. But he is way too powerful for me, it looks like. My Pokemon were, although very much trained up and a lot stronger than they've ever been, it looks like we just fell short a little bit. And weren't as prepared as I was hoping we would be, but it's okay because we're still going to win this thing, man. Because we're still going to end this battle in a victory. Yeah, so Sandstorm is automatically activated once Tyranitar is sent out in the field. So you will have to deal with that pretty much for the rest of the fight, because I believe pretty much for every playthrough he won't send out Tyranitar until pretty much the very end of the battle. So, but now the Slow King is taken out. We have conquered the one and only Master, Evice. No, even my ultimate Pokemon. We get a whopping $6 grand for that fight. Let's hear the crowd go wild, baby. Halt! Stop where you are. There's no getting away this time. Cipher's finished. The Shadow Pokémon plan ends now. Rui, are you alright? Pikachu. Who asked you? Don't you forget what you've done, Wes. It won't end this way next time. I will ruin you the next time, I promise you that. No, he's trying to escape with that helicopter. Let us meet again. Our bid to take over the world using Shadow Pokémon hasn't ended yet. Your plan? I think it just ended. What? Evice, you and your cronies are under arrest. Oh, what is that? It's a legendary Pokemon. It's a Ho-Oh. It is. It really is a Ho-Oh. It's incredible. It must have been keeping an eye on your heroics from the sky above. You obviously earned its support. Of course, it would also never allow criminals to get off scot-free, not when they're guilty of an outrage, like creating Shadow Pokémon. Oh wow, so Ho-Oh was watching over us. Hey Wes, I guess it's finally over. We faced a lot of challenges, but thanks to you, Wes, everything has been resolved. Wes, thank you. You were strong. You answered the call, and you were cool. Of course, I mean, this guy's a badass. Look at that. Ho-Oh is so close. So true. This is the first time I've seen one up so close. Rui and Wes, the Ho-Oh is blessing you for your victory. Such a perfect outcome. Yes, indeed. So that is a wrap for Pokemon Colosseum's main story. I have to say, man, I don't know how much more I can say about this game. Like, this game is just incredible, and if you have not played this game or never had the chance growing up doing so, wow, do I highly recommend. From what I understand, this is becoming available it's either out now or it's coming out soon for the Switch Online. And man, I can't recommend this game enough. If you're able to get your hands on a GameCube copy, I would also pick one up if you can, because this game is just incredible. Like I said, it's probably the darkest story that any Pokemon game has, and that says a lot. The inner workings of Cipher's plans and, you know, turning these Pokemon's heart into shadowy aura and essentially corrupting and violating them just for like financial gain and entertainment value. Like, man, it's just a gritty story here. And although it does follow a very different formula than the typical Pokemon game, where you don't have Pokemon you can just freely capture in the wild and you essentially have to steal them from other thieves and other criminals, it is a very unique game in its own, and I think some people may be turned off by that fact. But for me, I see that as more of a positive thing. I think having a game that takes, especially a game that came out in 2004, when, you know, the hype for Pokemon was probably at an all-time high. It definitely came off a lot differently, and I think is why it comes off as a more memorable game. There still is a very huge fan base for this game. Like, people love this game still today. And what other reasons can I point out as to, again, just how incredibly crafted this story is? The characters are very memorable. Almost every major NPC that you encounter in the game, you know, have a very unique design. They have very interesting and charismatic dialogue. Even the villains, man, like Mirror B, right from the very beginning of the game, strikes you as just interesting and, you know, unique and flamboyant. Every time that Mirror B or some of these other characters that have a lot of witty dialogue are on screen, that's something to really treasure, and it's something to really take in and enjoy. But overall, yeah, I highly recommend this game. And although it does require a lot of effort and a lot of level grinding, I mean, what other Pokemon game doesn't, though? I think this is a beloved gem in the Pokemon universe, and again, I think it's a must-have for anybody that's a true Pokemon fan. But that is it for Pokemon Colosseum. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on my next project. Oh, but wait, there's more. We are back at the outskirts stand, and we got an email. Take a look. New system done. Net from the under. We, that's myself and Sec and Pyrite, developed a new system of downloading data automatically to your PDA. From now on, information about Shadow Pokémon should arrive directly from people connected to the network. Check it out. Looks like Net has finally developed a very convenient system for us. That way we can track down and locate the rest of the Shadow Pokémon in the game. Yeah, it is not over yet. Even though the Cipher head Evice has been taken down, we still have more Pokemon to capture and free of their captivity. You can see that Tyranitar has been captured, the ultimate Shadow Pokemon that we will ever face in the game. We have successfully done so, thank goodness. And as we walk outside, looks like we're interrupted by another email. Man, people just can't leave us alone. We've already saved the world, people. What more can you ask for us? What more can you ask from us? Shadow Pokémon, Sec in Pyrite Town. Big guy, there's trouble. The Kid Network got word that a suspicious-looking Pokemon was spotted in Pyrite. I'd like to give you the full story in person, so can you come visit me? Well, it looks like we have our first little side quest here in the post-game of Pokemon Colosseum. So next time on Pokemon Colosseum, we're not done yet. We are going to head back to Pyrite Town, talk with Net, and figure out what the hell is going on with the rest of these Shadow Pokémon. So until then, I will see you later.